Live from the Sky News Weather Centre, this is the 10-minute briefing.
5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for your company in this 10-minute briefing. I'm Samantha Chiari with our meteorologist Tristan Myers, and we have a lot to get through this afternoon.
Yeah, we do. There's a lot of storm action in western New South Wales right now. It's producing dust storms. We're also going to be looking at what's been happening in the United States with some wild weather there. And this is what it was looking like earlier at Broken Hill. We had storms rolling through western New South Wales. They're still rolling through there. They're not producing much rain, but there's a large gust front or stormy winds right on their leading edge. And because it's been so dry there, well, it's led to this large-scale dust storms. They're actually known as haboobs in parts of the Middle East and in the United States. But this is exactly what's happening now, so it's lowering visibility. Just take care when you're driving in these sort of situations. It does look like it could be pretty hairy out there at times. The storms have moved on from Broken Hill now, however.
Yeah, it's no surprise we are seeing areas of raised dust right now through those inland regions that have barely recorded a drop of rain over the last couple of months or so. In terms of more images from these dust storms, take a look at that.
Broken Hill, yeah, you can see the very low visibility over there. You're right, Broken Hill, actually, Sam, only having 25 millimeters so far this year. So driest start to the year on record. Absolutely right to say that. Another image from Broken Hill, the low visibility through there, as you can see. And not just that, White Cliffs area also got this raised dust, so there's been a few places. In terms of the actual wind gusts, 95 kilometers an hour recorded at White Cliffs. Broken Hill had a 74 kilometer an hour wind gust, and Fowler's Gap a 61 kilometer an hour wind gust. So there's definitely some damaging winds in there somewhere. There's no storm warning out for these, but there has just been a storm warning issued for Victoria, for Mildura, and it's for large hailstones. So there is a storm heading towards you right now, it looks like, and the Bureau is warning for large hail with that storm.
And given where it is, we might see a storm warning for New South Wales right on the border.
Yeah, I think there might be a larger one issued for New South Wales at some point. If not soon, then definitely tomorrow.
Now, we do have a rain event which is beginning to unfold right now as we speak in terms of what we'll be picking up through these inland regions of New South Wales. Well, in terms of totals, what can we expect from this rain event for places like Dubbo, Hay, so on and so forth?
What we see on screen here is what we've already had so far this year. And we just said Broken Hill, 25, so there's 24.4 millimeters. That's all the rain we've had so far this year. So these are all places that have been the driest on record. So there you go. Very, very dry places there. And in terms of what we're going to be seeing, Sam, potentially widespread 10 to 25 millimeters there. So could be some good news for places like Cobar, around the Bathurst area, Mudgee region, Dubbo area. Those will be some of the heavier rain areas. Unfortunately for the Bathurst 1000 that starts tomorrow, it doesn't look like good conditions. Those drivers are in for a bit of a surprise when they head out there on the track. I think it needs to be pretty wet out there, pretty hazardous, but Friday, Saturday it looks a bit better.
Yeah, not an ideal situation there, particularly given they're driving around really fast in cars.
Yeah, not something we usually recommend you do, but that's their job.
They never cancel the events, though. The Formula One racing has been known to never cancel a F1 based on the weather, so...
Right? I think like last year as well, the Bathurst 1000, they had terrible weather as well.
I remember.
They're just like, they're priding themselves on driving through that, but it's not something I would want to drive through.
Look, we need the rain, so we're not going to take a negative note on it at this stage, but again, if you are headed to Bathurst, it's not looking ideal at all. Now, shifting focus, we're taking you to the United States. A lot happening in the world of international weather across the US. Tristan, we do have Storm Rosa, which is approaching the west coast, and residents are beginning to prepare by sandbagging.
They need them, we'll fill them.
Kim Eccles is one of the many volunteers filling the sandbag need.
We'll just keep going until it rains us out or something.
Tuesday afternoon, the Payson Fire Department posted on social media asking anyone who could to spare some time and energy. The response was tremendous.
It doesn't matter, you know, what the situation is. They're here, they want to help, they want to make a difference and serve the community.
If this saves somebody's house from flooding, then that's a good thing.
Like so many around him, young and old, Eccles felt compelled to help.
I found that the times in my life when I've been the happiest is when I'm doing something for somebody else.
With every load of sand, shovel scoop, and tie of a bag, these volunteers feel they're making a difference.
Water damage is pretty serious, so if we can keep the water out of somebody's house, it's awesome.
The bags will be sent to communities like Woodland Hills and Elk Ridge that just days ago escaped a wildfire threat.
We thought finally we're going to settle down after the fires, and then here we go with the weather.
And while they may not know the people who will benefit from their work, these volunteers are happy to help their neighbors.
Even if we had to stay out here all night in the rain.
Warnings for flash flooding are fairly widespread across the western United States, particularly around parts of Southern California, the Rockies, around the Colorado, Nevada, Utah areas.
And given we've just seen summer, a lot of these regions wouldn't have seen rainfall the last couple of months.
Yeah, that's why there's a particular risk of both flash flooding as well as mudslides through these areas right now. And this is a drought-affected area of the U.S. as well, and also an area that's been experiencing wildfires.
Yeah, not ideal. Well, staying with the United States, we've had tornadoes rip through Pennsylvania overnight, tearing and destroying an entire nursery home.
More than 160 residents were inside the Rolling Fields Elder Care community when the tornado ripped through the facility Tuesday afternoon. The damage forced the evacuation of the residents, who were transported by bus and ambulance to Conneaut Valley Middle School. That's where the Red Cross, the Salvation Army, and emergency responders from across the area showed up to help.
So we have two shelter facilities set up, one in the upper gym and one in the lower gym, housing those different patients or those clients along with the Rolling Fields medical staff.
Conneaut School District had to rely on its own emergency plan. The storm rolled in just as it was time for students to go home.
We keep kids inside, we get them away from the windows. We did those things. We got the elementary kids were actually on the bus before we got the alert. They came into the middle school.
The school dismisses about 2:25 in the afternoon. Conneaut School District Superintendent Jerry Sperry says the nasty weather arrived within minutes.
And so we opened up our school so they have a place to stay dry, a place to get fed, a place to, to be safe for the night.
Though the middle school was without electricity Tuesday night, generators were being used to provide light and power to medical equipment.
The primary concern is to get these clients in a safe facility. So we're working on, through the Department of Health, working on finding other beds that are in other facilities that would be open to get those patients out.
I was a nursing home, not a nursery home.
I was going to say there's not a lot of flowers there, so yes, there you go, a nursing home.
Not looking too ideal though in Pennsylvania either. We have a lot to get through in terms of international weather. Also a typhoon heading towards Japan, Tristan.
That could be the 9th named typhoon of the season to hit Japan. They've had such a crazy severe weather season. If you remember earlier this year, we were talking about the record flooding that they had around the sort of Hiroshima area just outside, and then they had heat waves after that, record-setting heat waves, and then they've had all of these bad typhoons hit, and this one looks really bad, really quite bad. It could get to Category 5. So
we'll keep you posted on that system as well. Now back home in Queensland, it is looking warm for you in southeast, 27 degrees in Brisbane, and rain will be extending across the south.
Late showers also possible in the southeast. The rest of the state, well, dry, mostly sunny. Not in New South Wales, mostly cloudy for a large part of the state. Dry for Broken Hill, though. Sorry, we have rain, showers, and storms extending from the north right down into the southeast. Heavy showers developing later in the day for the coastline, including the Illawarra and Sydney coast. Showers developing during the morning for the Gippsland, extending to central districts during the late afternoon, but it will be mostly dry for the rest of the state, and also cool. Tasmania, a cool morning, and we also have some frost. There's a frost warning out for parts of the state, and a dry day, partly cloudy. Mostly cloudy for South Australia's south there, and that southerly flow, maybe the odd drizzly shower. Dry and mostly sunny for the north. Western Australia seeing widespread rain, showers, and thunderstorms, stretching from the Shark Bay Carnarvon area down to the Esperance region. Perth, a few light showers, and also some clear breaks in it as well. 24 degrees. For the north of the country, it's hot and mostly sunny. Although Alice Springs has seen a cool change, they'll drop temperatures down to 29 degrees. It'll still be hot in Darwinville at 34.
Now stick with us. Tristan will be up live in just over 20 minutes, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here's the latest radars coming out of New South Wales. It is music to our ears here at Sky News Weather. We are so happy to finally see some rain falling in these drought-affected regions of the country. We'll both be up shortly for more of your local weather.
Please see.
meteorological phenomenon which may become more frequent during the current drought is the dust devil. Here's a shot of one from the southwest corner of the USA, and a weaker dust devil, this one taken from the inland part of New South Wales. Now, a dust devil is a relatively long-lived whirlwind. They range from very small, sometimes less than half a metre diameter, to quite large, in excess of 10 metres and stretching up to 1,000 metres vertically. They are well below the intensity of a tornado. The key difference being a dust devil rises from the surface with that vertical motion moving upwards, and normally the maximum winds are well below gale force. A tornado, on the other hand, the rotation starts within a supercell thunderstorm and then moves towards the surface, and they can have winds sometimes in the hundreds of kilometres per hour. Now, we found some very interesting footage of a dust devil on Instagram a few days ago. This is from the northern Western Australian town of Kununurra. Have a look at this one. See how slowly it's moving, but that's actually quite common. Dust devils form when a pocket of hot air near the surface rises quickly. That forms an updraft, which can start to rotate in the presence of wind shear. That's winds going in different directions. As the air rapidly rises, the column of hot air is stretched vertically, therefore moving the mass closer to the axis of rotation, which causes intensification of the spinning effect. As hot air rushes in towards the developing vortex to replace the air that is rising, the spinning effect becomes further intensified, and it is self-sustaining. They can last 1 to 2 hours. Now, what kinds of conditions lead to dust devils? Well, firstly, you need to actually have clear skies, as you can see here, because the solar radiation needs to hit the surface and heat the surface to get that upward air rising. You also need fairly light winds. Strong winds will tear the dust devil apart. So fair weather, hot conditions near the surface, and light winds. But thankfully they are quite harmless, only on a rare occasion ever causing any damage.